and visionary leader in Africa, implementing reforms that break from conventional leadership on the continent. In an age where many African heads of state choose to present themselves internationally in Western-style custom-made suits, often appearing more aligned with foreign standards than with their native traditions, Traore has committed himself to symbolizing Burkina Faso's cultural pride. This dedication is not superficial. It manifests in his attire, policies, and approach to governance, setting him apart in profound ways. At the recent Russia-Africa summit, for example, Traore stood as a stark contrast to his peers by choosing to wear his military combat uniform, while most other African leaders opted for expensive tailored suits. This choice was a powerful symbol, emphasizing his alignment with his people's struggles and his determination to prioritize national pride over appearances. President Traore's vision for Burkina Faso includes not only strengthening its economy and infrastructure, but also ensuring that the country's cultural heritage is reflected in everyday life. Recently, he implemented a policy requiring that all magistrates and clerks wear faso danfani, a traditional woven fabric created from local cotton, during official court hearings. This requirement is more than a uniform mandate. It is part of a broader initiative to embrace and promote Burkinabe craftsmanship and identity. Faso danfani is a vibrant fabric steeped in Burkina Faso's history and craftsmanship, woven by local artisans with patterns that reflect the cultural motifs of the nation. By mandating its use, Traore is creating a national identity that is visibly represented in public institutions. Furthermore, this measure provides economic benefits by reducing the government's dependency on costly imported attire for officials. Faso danfani is approximately 5 times cheaper than typical formal uniforms, making it an economically sound decision as well as a cultural one. This mandate supports local artisans who create the fabric, stimulating the domestic textile industry and retaining wealth within the national economy. This policy aligns with Traore's broader goal of reducing reliance on foreign imports and building an economy that is both resilient and self-sufficient. Traore's promotion of Faso danfani extends beyond the judiciary. Last year, he introduced a reform that mandated Faso danfani as the fabric for school uniforms, with a phased implementation over 4 years. This reform aims to create a sense of cultural pride among students, fostering national identity from an early age while supporting the local textile industry. The reform represents a significant investment in the nation's youth, embedding cultural heritage within the educational system and encouraging students to value their own traditions. The shift to locally produced fabrics for uniforms also carries financial implications. With Faso danfani being domestically produced, the cost savings are substantial, and the revenue generated from production circulates within the local economy, benefiting Burkinabe families and businesses. In a bold extension of this policy, Traore announced that Burkina Faso would no longer import uniforms for police and military personnel. This directive prompted the establishment of a new factory in Ouagadougou, dedicated to producing uniforms for students, police officers, and military personnel. The factory is a milestone for the country's textile industry, showcasing Burkina Faso's capacity to fulfill its own needs. Equipped to produce large quantities of high-quality fabric, the factory is capable of meeting the uniform requirements of the entire nation. By creating jobs and fostering economic independence, this initiative aligns with Traore's vision of an empowered Burkina Faso. Traore's commitment to Burkina Faso's independence and economic growth goes beyond symbolic gestures. He is actively addressing structural issues that have long hindered the nation's prosperity. Despite Burkina Faso being one of the world's largest gold producers, the country previously lacked its own gold refinery. This absence meant that raw gold ore had to be exported to Europe for processing, causing Burkina Faso to miss out on significant value-added benefits and job creation. Recognizing this as a critical economic gap, Traore commissioned the construction of Burkina Faso's first gold refinery. By refining its gold domestically, Burkina Faso can retain a larger portion of the profits, create jobs, and exert greater control over its valuable resources. This initiative demonstrates Traore's determination to keep Burkina Faso's wealth within its borders and to reduce dependency on foreign powers for resource processing. Traore's approach to resource management also includes Burkina Faso's agricultural sector, which has long suffered from inefficiencies despite the nation's vast potential. One notable example is the country's tomato production. Burkina Faso exports a significant amount of tomatoes, yet it imports processed tomato paste, a practice that results in economic leakage and limits job opportunities within the country. Traore saw this as an unacceptable discrepancy, and in response, he initiated the creation of a local tomato processing plant. This plant will process raw tomatoes into paste and other food products, creating jobs, increasing food security, and keeping more of the agricultural value chain within Burkina Faso. The plant also reduces the need for imports, furthering Traore's goal of economic self-reliance. In the realm of healthcare, Traore has committed to improving access and quality by overseeing the construction of an $80 million world-class health facility. The facility, built with private sector partnerships, reflects his approach of balancing state and private resources to maximize efficiency and maintain high standards of service. This project underscores Traore's recognition of healthcare as essential to national stability and well-being. By investing in a modern health facility, he is not only providing necessary care for the Burkinabe people, but also reducing the dependency on foreign medical services, thereby fostering greater self-sufficiency. Traore's economic policies are driven by a desire to create an environment where Burkinabe citizens can prosper and actively participate in the nation's economy. One of his most impactful moves has been a series of historic tax cuts aimed at young entrepreneurs, making it easier for startups and small businesses to thrive. Traore understands that economic empowerment requires more than just job creation. It requires a systemic shift in how wealth is generated and distributed within the country. By lowering taxes on small businesses, he aims to stimulate growth at the grassroots level, encouraging innovation and providing a foundation for a diverse economy. In addition to tax cuts, Traore has partnered with private sector stakeholders to increase access to capital for young entrepreneurs. Recognizing that lack of funding is a significant barrier to business development, he has worked to create financial avenues specifically designed to support youth-led ventures. This collaboration with the private sector not only diversifies the economy, but also empowers the younger generation to contribute to national growth. One of Traore's most forward-thinking policies is his concept of popular shareholding, which allows Burkinabe citizens to become stakeholders in state-owned enterprises and public projects. For instance, he recently opened 20% of the government's telecommunications company to public investment. This initiative was a resounding success, generating $60 million that the government has reinvested in critical